Wow, the internet was actually right this time. What is good, people? This is OWS The King for OWS The King Gaming, your hub for casual gaming. And yes, the internet was right this time. Who would have thunk it? All praise and all the hype surrounding this hack and slash role-playing game has been spot on, in my opinion. It is absolutely well deserved. We are talking about Ghost of Tsushima, made by Sucker Punch. All right, I had this game sitting on my backlog for about 5 years now. A game that was I bought in 2021 for the PS4. I told myself I'll get to it soon, and then, like usual, life happened. I was on the road a lot. I was collecting more video games than playing, and was buying more games than I could ever play. But you know how it goes. But finally, I sat down and put my first 10 hours in of Ghost of Tsushima, and let me tell you, I'm already mad at myself for waiting this long. This won't be a full review. This is strictly my impressions from the first 10 hours. Even from that alone, I can already see why people talk about this game in such high regard. So before we get to it, I had this same feeling that I had with Horizon Zero Dawn, and I ended up playing that in 2024. And it had that same feeling like, dang, why did I sleep on this? You know, both games were hype, both are praised, and both just like sat untouched in my collection for years. But just like Horizon, playing Ghost of Tsushima now without like the noise of like the fandom and spoilers and the discourse honestly makes the experience more better. So it's just me. So we'll just get right to it, talking about it right off the bat. The Ghost of Tsushima kind of gives you a variety of options before you start. You can play in English, you can play Japanese. They have this Kurosawa type of filter that you can choose, so it kind of changes up to maybe like an old school type of karate flick. I started in the Japanese voiceover at first, and that way feels perfect if you're actually just watching the game, but trying to fight and read subtitles at the same time, yeah. So I ended up after 2 hours or so switched to the English voice acting is top tier. It never feels like it's out of place. It sounds like they used actual Asian American actors, which adds to the authenticity. Visually, this game is ridiculous. The opening battle, like on the beach, once you get into like the forest, the grasslands, the flowers blowing, the leaves falling, all that stuff is just straight up art. So the main protagonist is Jin Sakai, and you're fighting alongside your uncle, Shimura, as like the Mongols are invading your island. And the game teaches you mechanics during all of this when you're fighting and you're progressing through the story. It never feels like a boring tutorial with all the stops and pauses of the game. It is all like woven into the story itself. Then Jin gets ambushed, getting shot up with arrows and shit, and then basically like left for dead. So his uncle gets captured by the Mongol leader. I think his name was Khotan? Is it Khotan? Khotan Khan, who was like real calm, real respectful, and basically like terrifying in that Kingpin from Daredevil type of way. He's very strategic, patient, almost polite, which somehow makes it more off-putting, makes it more unsettling, you know? So about this time, Jin wakes up and he finds that he's in this area where he meets Yuna, a thief who like saved his life, and she ended up like selling this sword or something, which that was wild. This is where the game like introduces the stealth, and I'm gonna be real with you. I am not a stealth guy. I'm older. My reflexes ain't it like they used to be. And sneaking around in these games is usually where I die the most. But Ghost gives you tools that make stealth actually manageable. You can use like this focus mode to see the enemies like through walls, and it doesn't run out. Thank God for that. So you're linking up with Yuna, and Yuna telling Jin like, you gotta sneak, you gotta assassinate, you gotta be quiet. And Jin's like, no, that's now how we do things. So he's fighting with his upbringing the whole time. That samurai honor versus doing what you need to do to survive. That internal conflict is one of the best parts of the story so far for me. So you get right back to Kotan early in the game, and he's trying to get revenge, and he's trying to get his uncle back, and Kotan beats the brakes off of him. He beats his ass. It's not even close. And throws him off the bridge. So it's a great moment because it sets the tone like, you're not ready, you're not strong enough, you're gonna have to get more people, and you're gonna have to change up to win. So Jin survives the fall, and the game finally shows the title card, you know? And I thought that was pretty dope. Then it lets you loose in Ghost. This is where the game really hooked me, is the open world, but it's not overwhelming. You can follow the main story, or you can just wander off and find all these side quests. The characters and the characters, they have their own arcs, you know? You can go look for hidden shrines. You can check out these fox dens where you got to chase around the fox, and they're showing you different areas that you would never find on your own. And you finding these like statues that you pray to, and these bamboo strikes, which is kind of like a quick time type of thing. Just something to add to the overall game. Not really padding it, but giving you different, diverse type of things to do, which I really appreciate. So the way the game guides you is not with a like big arrow or like some glow or some beam that don't supposed to be there. They kind of went a different route, a more authentic route, is guiding you with the wind. So you literally follow the direction wherever the wind blows. If you go to your menu and say like you want to go to another part of the island, you click on the location that you want to go, and the wind will guide you there. So it's stylish, it's very immersive, and it fits this world very perfectly, in my opinion. Combat starts simple, but the game throws a lot at you real fast. The different stances for different enemy types, a lot of parrying, dodging, the timing, standoffs. The standoff mechanic is one of my favorites. What you do is I'm telling you what you do, like everybody else haven't played this damn game. You hold triangle and you're waiting for like an enemy to flinch, and then it's just like a old Western gun standoff, who's gonna go first, and you lay them down with like one clean strike. Later you can upgrade it to hit and take out multiple enemies, and that shit never gets old. It never gets old. I'll be honest though, the parrying took me a minute to get real comfortable with. I was about in the 8th hour. My reflexes is not built like that anymore, but once it clicks, it feels amazing to do. the combat itself feels very amazing. And as you're upgrading Jin and making them a little bit more powerful, having them learn new moves and things, you really start coming off as a badass in this game. Like, for instance, I went into this whole area that was ran by Mongols, and when they let loose on you and they're chasing you around this place, you can go into these tents, and you can use your sense mechanic to hide from them, and it has an entry and it has an out, a way to get out, and they follow you inside the tent, and you can go around the tent and come back in and stab them in the ass with your knife. It's very, very satisfying, very, very fun. I really, really enjoy this game very, very much. So one thing I do appreciate is like the supporting cast. One thing that I like is that they actually help. Yuna is not just standing around pretending to fight. She is like putting in work. And the same goes with the characters that you meet later. It feels like a team effort. They're not wiping out half of the enemies for you, but what they do matters. They're taking out, they're distracting, they're doing their part of the game, which is a lot of games that have you basically having like a NPC with you, and it makes it feel like they're doing something, but it's just there for visual, and they're really more in the way than anything. This is not the case for this game. They are actually helping you out and doing their part. So it doesn't feel like a babysitting mission, you know? I'm looking at Resident Evil 4. Like, the music itself deserves its own shout out. Playing it with headphones makes a huge difference. At first, it really wasn't one of those things that I was paying attention to until my second play session, where I put on my headphones, and yeah, the score, it really becomes part of the experience. So kind of wrapping up my impressions of this is that the narrative is very, very solid. One of the standouts has been my interaction with I would say my friend. We put quotes on that, Ryuzo, and you find him a little bit early, and he was friends with Jin back in the day. I would say they were friends as they were younger, and he is the leader of this gang, or these mercenaries called the Straw Hats. And so you find him a lot early, and he's telling you that we was there during all the fights on the island shore. Well, we was helping out, and me and the rest of my people, we're looking for food now. And so they have these few missions where Jin is helping Ryuzo get food for his people, and in turn, Ryuzo will help him fight the Khan. And they're doing a couple of missions, and nothing's working out. They can't find food. They find a location of some food on this boat, and they end up getting overthrown by Mongols, and they blow up the boat, which in turn destroys all the food. You seeing Ryuzo get more frustrated and basically starting to give up, you know. And it's a part of the game where some of his people, Ryuzo people, get taken away by the Mongols, and Jin and Ryuzo has to go and find him. Well, this kind of the cool part about the story is that you're seeing the levels of what happens later in the game, where they go to this base, and the Straw Hats was in cages, yes, but they were singing, They was told that they was taken care of. They was fed. They was basically enjoying themselves, although being caged. And Ryuzo didn't understand why. And I think one of the men said that they wanted them to join, or I don't know if they hinted off of that. It fades me right now. But that shows you, that is telling you, like, that's giving you that hint where Khan is doing the same thing that he was doing with his uncle, was basically asking them to join him instead of, basically like overturning them or killing them. He was giving them a chance, because as you look at it in the perspective of what Khan's trying to do, is like, well, the more the better. If I can take these men and make them my own, why wouldn't I not do that? The more numbers, the better, And so we get to the point where Jin is going back. He thinks he has enough people to overthrow Khan, and he's waiting on Ryuzo to help him, and he never shows up. So you say, all right, fuck it, we're gonna go head on. We just gonna do this. We have to do it without him. And you get there, and Ryuzo's there, and Ryuzo tells him that it's a bounty on your head. It's a bounty on your head, and we took it. I gotta do this, regardless of that we're friends or not. My people need to eat. And going back to the story itself, where prior to that, is that, yeah, he kept on going through chance after chance after chance for food, and it was not happening. He cares about his men and how they're being taken care of, and nothing was working with Jin. Nothing was working with what they were doing, so he had to go another route.
Then he'll send us to die, just like he did at Komoda Beach.
Ryuzo,
He's your family, Jin. I need to protect mine.
And so this is it. So he turns on him. He turns on his friend. And I thought that was good storytelling. I really appreciate that. I kind of saw it coming, but when it happened, I really thought that was cool. Nice little twist. And it's really keeping me engaged in the story going forward. So yeah, that dynamic of people making choices that they never wanted to make. People that don't have like the luxury and honor. A lot of this stuff in the game and stuff really has conflict added on to the decisions that's being made. And I really like that, even though that you don't have much of control of how the story plays out, it really still is engaging to follow along as you're playing. So in my opinion, like even like the first 10 hours, the Ryuzo story arc, his presence adds weight to what's going on with Jin, because you're just not fighting Mongols. It's a real story to this, and I really do appreciate. So kind of just wanted to go off the cuff and and talk about this, because I really am enjoying this game. I know that I talk about playing variety of games throughout the month. This is the only game that I played. This is the only game that I really just sat down and wanted to focus on, and that's fine. That is fine. I really am just appreciated that I took this one off the backlog, and I'm keep going. I'm I'm not going to stop. This is a game that I'm going to finish to the very end. The story is already strong. The characters, they feel real. The world is beautiful. The combat is deep. very rewarding. If once you figure out a lot of the mechanics, they do give you a whole lot to work with, which can be overwhelming. It's not really necessarily a negative, but they give you a lot of shit. They give you a lot of stuff to upgrade. It's a lot. The stealth is not really my cup of tea, but when you're stealthing like you need to stealth, that is actually fun. So this game really respects your time. It really does. It's giving you so much to do where you never seem like you're at a lull. You never feels like you're trying to figure out what's the next thing that's happening. And every time I go through a mission, every time I found something new, every time I went to a new part of the island, I really was engaged. So honestly, loving it so far. Everybody was right. I'm excited to see where the next 10 hours go. And this is one of those games that makes having a backlog worth it. And I've talked about this multiple times because discovering something this good years later without all the hype is that's a special feeling. And it really gets me excited to play Ghost of Yotai. You know, which that's been out for the past few months now. I'm really excited to get to that, but I have a lot of stuff that I have to get off the backlog first. So that will be maybe down the line, maybe in another 5 years, who knows? So yeah, it's very fun. Ghost of Tsushima, really enjoying it. If you like these little impression videos of like the first few hours of games and stuff, let me know. I'm very unfiltered. I'm very off the cuff, off the top of my dome when I'm talking about some of this stuff. I feel like it's very authentic. I write down certain notes and we just go from there. But yeah. All right, guys, this is OWS The King for OWS The King Gaming, your hub for casual gaming. Play your backlog. Stop buying games. No, do whatever the hell you want, man. Do whatever the hell you want. Just play a game. Stop whining about video games. Enjoy these games because there's great games out there. Thousands upon millions of great games. So, all right. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.